Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome into the Morning Five on Friday, February 13th, 2015. I am Dave Biddle, and I'm joined by Duane Long. Duane, let's talk about Braxton Miller. We received word that he's ahead of schedule in his rehab of a torn labrum and is already lightly tossing a real football. We're also told Miller still wants to play quarterback, but knows there's a chance he will have to switch positions, depending on the shoulder, to an H-back or possibly a wide receiver role. We won't know the outcome for several months. It's going to depend on how healthy his shoulder is, of course. But let's look in our crystal ball of sorts here, Duane. What do you think will happen, Duane? Is Braxton going to stay at quarterback or move positions this fall?
Oh, I think his primary position is going to be H-back. I just don't know how this guy is going to outthrow Cardell Jones or J.T. Barrett. I just don't see it. I mean, we've watched him. We've had plenty of time to look at all three of these guys. He is the third best passer of the lot, even though he had a high percentage. The one that, he completed, 60-some-odd% of his passes. He's still the guy that makes throws that make you say, what was that about? He's just not the most accurate guy. He does not see the field as well as the other two guys. I just don't think that if they're absolutely, honestly going to say who's the best guy to step in and play quarterback, sit these guys back there and let them throw in 7-on-7s, that he's going to be the number one guy. I just don't. So I think he moves to H-back. I think we see him plenty. I think it opens up all kinds of possibilities of things that can happen with him on the field at the same time with one of the other quarterbacks. But I think he is going to be primarily an H-back player. And I think he can do it. I think his legs were his primary weapon. He's incredible in the open field. I remember Matt Millen making this comment. He said Braxton Miller is one of the best runners he's ever seen, but he's not the best quarterback. Well, you know what? He's a pretty damn good quarterback if that's his primary thing is to throw the football. Just let him run around. He could be dynamic. He's strong. He's a great runner after the catch. That's one thing about moving running backs to receivers, guys who are, played in the backfield, who are used to getting hit at the line of scrimmage and having to fight through tackles, if they do that in the open field. So I think he could be even better out there. I think he's got a better chance of playing in the NFL out there.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how tough of a transition you think it will be for Braxton. Let's say, for argument's sake, that he does move to H-back. He's played quarterback his whole life, but similar to Jalen Marshall. Jalen Marshall made a seamless transition, in my opinion. He had to sit out a year, but looked great in the H-back role this year after playing nothing but quarterback his whole life in Middletown. How tough of a transition, if you think it'll be tough at all, will it be for Braxton to switch from quarterback to H-back?
Well, the one thing is getting adjusted to catching the ball, but quarterbacks are used to handling the ball a lot. So it's not like it's that big a transition. He will be familiar with so many of the patterns in the offense as far as running patterns. That, I think, probably is going to be the biggest thing for him, is being the guy that's actually counting his steps, making sure where the defensive backs are. That was usually a decision that the quarterback's got to read that, but the receiver's the one that's got to set up that defender and make him do things. I think he can make. We see this transition pretty regularly from quarterback to wide receiver. So, and I think this guy can handle it.
I found this story very interesting. It has nothing to do with Ohio State football at all, but I found this interesting. Eastern Washington quarterback Vernon Adams is transferring to Oregon and will be eligible to play immediately this fall. The plan is for him to take over for Marcus Mariota as the Ducks starting quarterback. And Adams is an excellent player. He was a 3-year starter at Eastern Washington, 2-time Big Sky Player of the Year, and 2-time runner-up for the Walter Payton Award, which is given to the best player nationally at the FCS level. So this guy can play. Eastern Washington head coach Duane, Bo Baldwin is none too pleased about this situation. Oregon and Eastern Washington will open the season against each other, and Baldwin has barred Adams from working out at Eastern Washington for the remainder of the 4 months that he'll be on campus before he graduates. Baldwin also had a funny quote when he said, "I don't see Urban Meyer going to Northern Iowa to find his next guy," unquote, which is taking a direct shot at Oregon's recruiting efforts. Duane, extremely funny quote there, but what are your thoughts here? Do you have a problem with what the coach is doing as far as barring Vernon Adams from working out at Eastern Washington?
Well, I think it's petty. The kid's he's trying to improve his situation. He's going to have a better shot of playing in the NFL out of Oregon, playing for a national championship. Forget about the NFL. He plays for a national championship, a big school national championship. I just think it's absolutely pointless, and I can't imagine this is the first time a player has left Eastern Washington to go to a bigger school. I'm sorry, he's it's just the way it is. It's the reality of the system, the way it is. It's petty. I think it's ridiculous. I think he should just let the guy go and wish him well. I mean, obviously, considering that he's the awards he's won there, he's done well for that football program. They should. It's ridiculous. Come on, man. Don't be a man. Grow up.
And the coach just signed a contract extension. So he even admitted in the story that I read off ESPN.com that that this young man helped him get this contract extension. He'll always be grateful to Vernon Adams for helping him get this contract extension. But then he's not going to let him work out before he transfers to Oregon. So I kind of see both sides of the issue. I mean, I kind of see both sides of the issue because he's starting the year off. He's going to be playing. He's not just leaving. He's going to be playing against his former school in the first game of the year. But at the same time, I agree with you. I think it is petty, and I think the coach needed to just get over it and let the young man work out. I don't think this is helping anybody by barring him from working out with his former Eastern Washington teammates. But we'll see what happens. I think it was just a funny as hell quote that coach said about, I don't see Urban Meyer going to Northern Iowa to find his next guy. Well, of course not. Urban Meyer just looks at his bench if he needs another quarterback. He doesn't look for transfers. Last thing here, Duane. First week college football lines are already out. Ohio State is favored by 17 points at Virginia Tech. Season opener for both teams. Of course, Ohio State, the lone loss during the national championship season, 35-21 at home against Virginia Tech. The Hokies have a lot of returning starters, and their fans are confident. They think that this spread is way too high. Then you have Ohio State fans that think, Ohio State's going to go in there and blow them out because they're going to be so motivated. Where do you come down on this, Duane? What do you think about the 17-point spread at Virginia Tech?
I think the can of whoop ass is going to come out. I think that Ohio State owes this team, and this is the team. We got to keep remembering that Ohio State was coming off losing 4 offensive linemen. We were not going to play with that. We were going to play without Braxton Miller. We lost a running back, probably the best running back in the NCAA 2 years ago. Lost all that, and everyone said, we're really 2 years away, but because of guys possibly going early, we're a year away. Well, guess what? We won a national championship. Now this team is going to be better. How many guys are we going to lose off this team that were going to be significant to next year's effort? Ohio State wants from Virginia Tech. That the vengeance is mine. Yes, absolutely. I think Ohio State goes in there. And I watched Virginia Tech last year. Those guys are returning. So what? They were awful. They had one good game all year, a night that Ohio State showed their youth, and Ohio State was not prepared, and they had a good football game. The rest of the year, they stunk the joint up. They were bad. So these guys coming back, I don't think it helps them much. Ohio State's coming back, national championship team. So come on, let Hokie, you get down there, you gobble all you want. About to get your head chopped off. That's what's getting ready to happen.
I just love that we're already talking about college football lines for next season. We're only a month removed from the national championship, and we're already talking about next season. So I love it. It's a year-round obsession here in Columbus, and we wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you to
We don't want it any other way.
Exactly. We just, football is a year-long obsession here in Columbus, and that's how it's always going to be. Thanks to the wisdom of Duane Long, as always. Thank you for listening to the show. I hope you have a great weekend. Take it away, best damn band in the land.